Hello and welcome to the Week 2 project. Today we're going to be covering the Week 2 concepts and let's get started. Here's some of the topics we're going to be going over real quick inside the project. We're going to get some of the descriptive statistics, this mean, median, minimum, max, things like that, all right? Also, we're going to be doing it for both cost and 30-year ROI, 2 columns. Also, we're going to be calculating the probability of picking a certain school type of private. And the same thing over here for private school, we're going to see if we can find out what the probability of, selecting between 15 or 1.5 million and 1.8 million. Let's get started. All right, so here's your data set. You have the same data set you're working with, the same template you had from the previous week. When you download the new one, though, just download a fresh copy every time so you can start off with a new piece. Okay, so the first thing we're actually calculating is the descriptive statistics for that. You needed, and I can actually put it in here so you can see it. Remember, you can go in here and go to Insert and add the little text box here. You can place it anywhere you want to, and I'm just copying the information from the class. Okay. So that's our first question right here. We're supposed to be calculating all this data right here. So the best thing to do is use your data analysis tool pack you already had from last week. Go to Insert and, I'm doing it wrong. Data analysis. Descriptive statistics is what you want. And from here, I'm just going to reset all my columns here just to make sure yours should be blank already. I was going to make sure I'm grabbing the right stuff. So from here, I want to select the first one, which I need is cost. So I'm going to grab all the costs right here, starting from the label all the way down. Make sure this box is checked here for label, because that's what we're doing. We're selecting the whole label. I'm going to output it, and then you're going to put the actual button here, click on there to put it on your sheet. I'm going to put mine right here. I'm putting it below everything where it's not in the way. And then you want to push summary statistics. Okay, you don't need anything right now on this side. When you're done with that, there goes the cost statistics there. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to actually identify where they're at, and they're right here. Okay, now instead of highlighting and going back and forth, I can use this thing called Format Painter. Just double click on that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the mean, median, right, minimum, maximum, the range, and standard deviation. These are my statistics I already have calculated now. Now you can change this to dollar signs if you like, which is up here. Same thing down here. This is the dollar sign, and here's the dollar values as well. They're all dollar values because you're working with dollars, right? Same thing here, okay? Next thing we're going to do is calculate the descriptive statistics for the annual ROI, 30-year NOR. All right, make sure you grab the right one. Data analysis, descriptive statistics, and make sure you select the right column now. Okay, you want to make sure you select the right data. 30-year ROI, output range, you want to change that because you're not going to put it on top of the same data, so you want to move it over a couple. Right there is fine. Summary statistics stays there. Make sure label's checked, and then push OK. All right. So what I'm going to do is, since everything's the same, I'm going to highlight all this, use my Format Painter on the Home tab, and I'm going to click like that. Now, if you notice, it's like this jumbled up dollar signs, pound sign, right? Go between J and K or one of these. You can double click on it and it makes it bigger for you. Okay. So that's that for the actual business, right? In engineering, you'll do the same thing. Okay. So the second question asks us, how do we, if you wanted to, let me see here. Yeah, it's not going to let me do that. I'm going to copy this. Okay. Actually, I'm going to clear out this stuff because you already know what it is, right? We clear all this stuff out. Okay. And what I'm going to do is put in the new one here, which is the new topic we're doing, right? We're doing this new stuff now. We want to see the probability of selecting school type of private, right? That's the goal. So the first thing we have to do is first know the chances of it, right? What's percentage of out of the school types is private, right? Versus public, right? So you want to know what the chance is. So based on that, if you know how many there are total, we know there's 20 in here, right? So if we know there's 20 in here, and you know that 16 of them are public, for example, or private, excuse me, then that's 80% of all of it, right? But we have to calculate and prove that first. So I'll show you that. So what we want to do is actually highlight, like we did kind of in week 1 project. I'm going to do insert. I'm going to do the pivot table because we want to make sure that we can actually do this in a ordered fashion, right? So I already selected a table. I'm going to put existing sheet here. Pick my location. I'm going to click on there, pick my location, and somewhere that's not on top of the data, okay? And make sure you put it down below. If you have the other stuff that's already been done for the other, like the other piece, part 1, you can bring it down here if you want to. All right. So the first thing we do is select the school type data, and then we can actually drag that down, left click, drag it, and put it on values. There's one key thing here you want to do. Instead of using this school type, we already know it's 16 now, we can do the calculation if you want to. But there's a feature in here underneath the values that you can actually adjust, okay? Right now, it's doing, you can do a calculation on the value, okay? So right now, a summarized value is by count, right, which is fine. And you can do max, min, all that, but we want to actually show value as something. So show value as what? A percent of the grand total. We can see what that does. About, let's see what it does. Percent of grand total. Push OK. Yep, it does it for us. Pretty cool, huh? So we did a little selection down here, and we did value. And we didn't click on summarize. We clicked on the next tab here, show value as, and then we selected percent as grand total. And that's what gave us the 80%. That's your probability for this one here, for business. It tells you, what is the probability out of for each major that you can select the private school out of the public. Now, had it been a public versus private, it would be 20% for public selecting, right? Right now it's private, right? So that's 80%. It's like right there, 80. Okay. So the next one is asking us, well, here's the next question. So since we already had this value here, I'm going to move this over here, by the way, so we can see it. All right. So now it's telling us, based on if you already selected private, okay. If you already selected private, what's the probability of getting between 1.5 million and 1.8 million? Okay, so we want to see what we can do with this. I want to see if we can actually see the counts in there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and show the value setting again. I want to show see here. Oh, we need to actually have more information in there. So yeah, we actually need the 30-year ROI in that data too. Okay, so let's go ahead and add another pivot table. And that's what I messed up on. But you select the whole data if you want, or just the two. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and select the whole data set, push OK. Insert, pivot table. And I'm going to do existing location. I'm going to put it right below there so we can actually use it. Okay. Now, we actually are going to use the school type, and we want to use this 30-year ROI. Okay. Now we don't need it down there. We need it right here. Okay? And necessarily we don't need that either. Actually we do, right? We want to have the actual values here. I want to see just the value setting here. Okay? It's just a count. Now what I did was I turned it to a count. So now we have all this right here. So the first thing I did was I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this stuff so we can see. We actually bring down each value, the 30-year ROI and the school type. Okay. Next thing we do is bring this 30-year ROI down here, and we want to change the value to count, not sum. Now it gives us individual counts. Okay. Well, our goal is to figure out how much is each one of these worth, like the percentage. So what we can do is we can actually go back into the value perspective here, show the values, right, as these are values, as the percent of the parent row total. Let's try that first. Parent row total. There you go. And that's it. So now we have to actually look between here and there, and we can actually add those together. So what I'm going to do is a short little summary statement here, equals sum, and I wanted to highlight the ones right here because those are only ones that are between that percentage. Okay, and right now it's a 25% chance. Okay, because out of all this, right, out of all this should equal to, is that right, the total? Let me double check what I'm doing here. Let me make sure what I'm doing. Go back here, and I want to make sure that's the right. Percentage of row or column total, that's what I wanted. Percentage, let's try that one. So right now this is 80%. Let me go back to the other one. Yeah, I was right the first time. Okay, because your goal is to make sure this is a 100% chance. Okay, see down here, it's a 100% chance. The one I selected, I was trying to go to a second ago, and I thought I was wrong. It was wrong way. So what I did was I'm making sure you have this one now. So you want to go in here, the value, and you want to show the value as percent of the parent row total. So it's basically the percent of this total. Okay. Because if you did it the other way, like I was looking at, if you did percent of the column total, basically you're only getting 80% out of that, right? That's not what you wanted. You wanted the total out of 100% possibility, right? So you're doing the percent of the parent row total, okay? And then now that gives us 25%. Say if it was greater than 1.4 million to here, so you have to actually increase that, right? If you wanted to do that, you can just go right here, if it was that probability. Now it's 75% if you wanted to select between here and here. See where we're going with this? Okay. So now you're working with that 75%. So you have to show your work. This is one way to show your work that you've done. Okay. All right. And that's this project.